Hello and welcome to Games Night. We turn 30 today, the age where you start to dance like dads at weddings and your girlfriend suddenly doesn't think it quite so much fun to watch you play GTA all night. I'm DoctorMike Reddy, XLeague boffin, and I've been called in to prove that we're all grown up, so sit up, pay attention, there will be a quiz at the end. Joining us to help celebrate the big 3-0 are Adam Dorey, director of Kakizo.com, Jim Cliff, an examiner for the BBFC, Jim Horth, head of shared technology at Rare, and finally Ellie Gibson, ruling Eurogamer.net with a rod of iron. Let's hope that they have all done their revision for the next 60-minute exam as we cover LEGO Indiana Jones, Ninja Gaiden 2 and a Kami for the Wii. And if you thought that a movie license, a cash-in sequel and a PS2 port weren't good enough, we will also be talking about game development, classification and credits on games. So controversial stuff there. But first let's catch up with everyone what they've been doing the last few days. Ellie, you're a gamer goddess, also in the music section of the Guinness World Records Gamers Edition, but is that all she wrote?
Well, no, Dr. Mike. This week I've actually been writing letters of apology to my family for the shame and dishonour I've brought on them and my ancestors. With the rock band video that we made last time Adam and I were on Games Night, and I'd just like to say I'm very sorry.
Okay, well, Dory, thank you for rejoining us in Respawn Heaven. What have you been up to?
Well, similarly fighting off that shame from the travesty of the rock band thing on the last episode. But although that's not the only shame I've been fending off this week, there's a sort of industry blog written by an anonymous games journalist on the internet. I probably won't mention what it's called, but he's decided to put 50 journalists in really bad photos up on his site. So basically, just as is the norm for me, fighting off shame from every angle, really.
Oh,
but we've also been redesigning our site, which is nice because it's a little bit old at the moment. So
all right, enough for the plugs.
So that's coming soon.
Yeah. We have two gyms in the studio. Unbelievable, we have two gyms in the studio. Rare Gym, if you don't mind me calling you that. You make tools for people to make games, but do you get a chance to play games yourself?
Every now and then I get a chance to play a game, but generally they're a little bit too hard for me. I've been banging my head against a brick wall with N+, stuck on chapter 15, and it just goes on from there. Apart from that, I've been balking at the sheer cost of rock bands, so we decided to actually form a rock band because it would be somewhat cheaper.
Yeah, well, we'll have to get you on the show. Viewers may not know that Jim Cliff is actually a pro gamer. Well, they do now. As an examiner for the BBC, are you too tired at the end of the day of being paid to play games to actually pull up a console in the evening? What have you been playing?
I've been splitting my time between GTA 4 and playing through LEGO Star Wars with my son.
All right, LEGO Star Wars?
Both of them with your son, or
just the LEGO Star Wars, yeah.
Do you play with real LEGO?
Sorry?
Do you play with real LEGO?
Yeah, we do, actually.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Let's see what the UK have been buying this week in the multi-format chart. Ali, if you could talk us through this one?
Sure. Well, of course, kind of the big surprise, although it's not really a surprise, I suppose, is that LEGO Indiana Jones has knocked Grand Theft Auto 4 off the top spot. And as I say, that isn't really a surprise when you consider how many people bought Grand Theft Auto 4 in the first few weeks on sale. I think pretty much everyone in Britain owns a copy now, apart from my mum. So that's not a shock, really. And then it's good to see Race Driver there at number 3. And then it's just so boring. I haven't been able to stay awake long enough to read through the rest of the chart, really. It's Mario and Sonic, Mario Kart, Ninja Gaiden, Mario, football and war.
Okay. Well, not normally we talk about the individual chart, but pretty much it's the same story. LEGO Indiana Jones filling the top slot, except for the DS. So we're going to go straight on to the game that actually has caused a big problem in the charts, LEGO Indy. Let's look at the game that usurped the GTA throne this week. LEGO Indy, as it's known to its friends, is the latest movie license to receive the plastic brick treatment, following on from the wonderfully successful LEGO Star Wars games. But does it stack up or fall to pieces when you pick it up?
He has discovered the world's most sought-after treasures. He has become known as the greatest adventure hero of all time. But next year, the legend goes LEGO. LEGO Lego Indiana Jones, the video game.
Well, you play some of the Lego games. Examiner Jim, are you a Lego fan? What do you think of this game?
I'm a massive Lego fan. I think these games are absolutely brilliant. They're such good fun to play with other people. As I say, I play the Star Wars games with my 4-year-old, and certainly I'll be playing this one with him. And it's just I think they evoke the spirit of the films really well. They tell it with humour, and it's just good fun to play.
Okay, well, Red, Jim, obviously this is an all-format game across everything. Even my cat can play Lego Indy. What do you think? How do you think it fares up in the HD arena?
Well, I don't think it does too bad a job. I think one of the things about a Lego game is that it's never going to be really pitching at the really high-end graphics. It's it's a simpler look to achieve, and certainly I don't think the title's really dragged down by by the lowest common denominator. That said, I do find there are 1 or 2 points where items just a little bit. I'm not playing on a small TV, but items can be a little bit too small to see exactly what the purpose is. So a few little quirks and niggles.
Yeah, I wonder if that is why the DS version isn't in the individual charts in the top 10. Ellie, you first ran the story on when Lego Indy was going to be released. According to joystick.com, it says here, from a top secret inside source. Care to say who it was?
I'm afraid I never reveal my sources, mainly because I can't ever remember who they are. And frankly, I could have made it up. I've no idea.
Well, you heard it here first. What do you think of the game?
I think it's great. I also like the Lego Star Wars games, and I like this one. I think it's got a few of the niggles. I think some of the puzzles, as with Lego Star Wars, are actually a little bit obscure, especially for kids. I think they're a bit tough and it can be a bit frustrating in places. But it looks great. It's extremely polished, and ultimately, it's just brilliant fun. It's a fantastic game.
Okay. Dory, a common complaint with the Star Wars games was you weren't quite sure what to do to progress through the story. Did you have the same thing?
I didn't know. I think actually one of the areas where this improves on the Lego Star Wars games is the puzzle elements. I thought they'd made them a little bit more straightforward. Some of the harder ones that the Star Wars ones were more renowned for are saved for just the bonus sort of side mission stuff that you do in the game. So I think they've sorted that out. I mean, personally, I've never really been convinced about the connection of Lego with these mega brands, but at the same time, it's quite harmless, and it does work as a game when it comes down to it.
Generally, do people think that this is because of the Indiana Jones film that the game has been so well received and sold so well?
I think possibly because the new Indiana Jones film is so rubbish that it's nice to have an Indiana Jones property that is quite good.
I hate it when you sit on the fence, Ellie. Jim, you're going to say?
I think it's lucky that they've come out at the same time. I think that Lego Indy has obviously been worked on for some time, and the film has been in pre-production and development for absolutely years. So I think the fact that they both happen to have come out the same summer is really good and really good for the franchise, I suppose.
Okay, well that's good. Well, let's put it in quantifiable terms. Dory, what's your score for this game?
I'm going to go quite high on this one. I think that every level sort of brings a new challenge. There's a lot of varied stuff. AI is a bit shoddy, to be honest, though. But overall, I mean, it's certainly worth having a look at. I think I'll give it an 8.
An 8, okay. Rare Jim.
There's tons to do. It's got an absolutely charming look to it. There's nothing quite as satisfying as breaking an opponent into a chunk of plastic bricks instead of a fountain of blood for a change. I'm going to go high. I'm going to give it an 8. Okay,
you can actually destroy almost everything in this game, can't you? Ali, are you going to destroy the score?
I'm going to give it a 7 because it is Indiana Jones, it is Lego, and it is great. There are a few little things like there's bits of the online options that were in the complete saga Lego Star Wars that just aren't in this game, for example, in the Xbox 360 version. I think that's a bit odd, and it's a bit of a shame, so I give it a 7.
Okay, 7. And finally, Jim.
Yeah, I think they've put a lot of work into this. They've done some really good things. One of the things interesting on the DS version is they've added some aspects of the gameplay specific to that, like there's torches on the walls that you can blow out by blowing into the DS microphone. And it's just, they've really put a lot of effort into it. I'm going to go very high because I love this game. I'm going to give it a 9.
This kind of breaks the general trend of movies into games, though, doesn't it? I mean, we've got Lego Batman coming up, of course. Do you think that this is going to be a success with Lego title stamped on it?
Well, they've certainly earned something of a reputation for themselves. In that I don't think there's really been a bad Lego sort of branded game thus far. It'll be interesting to see if they can continue that. I mean, it's very rare that people are able to keep that sort of seal of quality going for so long, with so much pressure to keep making titles. But I think that's actually something we'll talk about in a bit, isn't it? why do people make bad games sometimes? So.
Well, it's interesting we should say that, because that's going to come up. That's it for this part, but please stick with us as we've got Ninja Gaiden 2 and why games go bad. It's almost like a premonition. See you after these messages.